old state capital. Great respect for the old timers anyway, because they somehow tried to do something what they thought was possible to try and solve problems, but it's not relevant to today's climate of human advances and education. Once again, the old assemblies that are no longer in session. It's just a museum piece here at the old state capitol museum building. As you can see, it's like school desks, right? Yes. Politics about 100 years ago was meant for that. People would just sit around here, as you could see, just like schoolboys. And they will just have a little chit chat, and you can see just like a school teacher's desk. It's more like a school boy's desk actually. It's got a lockable drawer there with the actual representative's name plugged on the top of the table, writing surface. And it's also got a little ledge to keep things in order, and so on. And as I said, it has always been the case where the politics back in the days were perfectly in sync with the knowledge at the time. So they would come, sit around together and discuss and put in a piece of legislation or piece of an act to stop people doing the wrong thing, because them as politicians could not arrive after research and studies about given circumstances of a difficult situation that was related to humanity or to the current set of circumstances surrounding the problem in the community, which is always technical. So as politicians, what they do is, and the lawyers and the legislators and the legal teams, they all sit around here at desks having tea and coffee and discuss to see what is the best possible choice to avert either a disaster or avert an accident or avert all sorts of scenarios or circumstances in human difficulties. They will just discuss and say this could possibly work, and of course you have to pass it through the legislative government, and it needs to be stamped at the highest authority of character, and it's passed down to its local authorities and to the state to be governed as the statutory instrument to legally bind the citizens of that community as well as the entire state. And if it applies to the federal law, and that carries on to that level, yes. So that's what the law politics is all about. They sit around, discuss, they're unable to come to a conclusion as to what's going to work for everyone. They implement a law, a legislation, and that's what you call those terminologies derived from that means of workings. Anyway, so the only ways to find solutions to human problem is studies, research, and education. And by doing lots of research and testing to see if it's going to work, you arrive at the answers. You don't make judgment on the community or individual or group of people and say, right, that is going to work, but it may not work for another community or for another environment where the population isn't all in that environment. So it is not going to help all the community or the entire state or the entire nation in following that code of conduct or that rule or the law. Hence why we say that don't break the laws, and It doesn't go far because nobody has done research and studies and understand, and technicalities comes into play a great deal of it. And until it is done that way, we will never find solutions to human issues, as politicians and the religious leaders are not technicians of solving problems. Yes, folk.